Everybody out there in oneBURGH world. I'm Brian Carruthers here at oneBURGH alongside my best buddy, Ed Troop. Good evening, Ed.
What's going on, Brian? How are you?
I'm good, man. And what a night it should be. This is something that we have put together that's new here at oneBURGH and oneBURGH.com. Whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or the .com or wherever, maybe you're peeping in my windows, I don't know. We came up with an idea that Pittsburgh has so many important people who love the city and give back to the city and surrounding areas. And we wanted to come up with an idea to celebrate them. And we came up with this idea called Yinzfluencers, right? And that is a
Right.
Pittsburgher who is giving back to the community in so many great ways. And the term Yinzfluencer, I think it's kind of one, I think it's a big tongue tie. Like I have problems saying it, which I
Right.
like. I don't mind that. And I want to, our guest tonight, of course, is our first Yinzfluencer ever. I don't know where he goes, somewhere on the wall of fame for it, but is Ryan Shazier, of course. And boy, I mean, Ed, you and I have talked for how long about Ryan and his impact to Pittsburgh. It doesn't get more impactful than the story of Ryan coming to town, being everything Steelers, going through his debilitating, his paralyzing accident in Cincinnati, and then really the resurrection and the rebirth of Ryan Shazier in Pittsburgh. It's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, when Ryan Shazier was drafted by the Steelers, the Steelers' first overall pick, it was the 15th pick in the 2014 draft out of Ohio State, quickly became an impact player. And the NFL was evolving at the time. You saw more hybrids at the tight end position. So therefore, you needed a big, speedy linebacker. The big linebackers of the past, the guys that could lift 300 some pounds, wearing the big neck brace behind them and just going in and hitting up the middle. Those days were fading because tight ends were getting better. They weren't just blocking, they were going out. Think Rob Gronkowski. Those guys were going out, catching passes. Receivers in the slot were getting more athletic and bigger. You needed a linebacker to cover from one side of the field to the other. And Ryan Shazier gave the Steelers that in a big, big way early on. And he was that piece, that leader on that defense early on with an offense. That was when they had AB, Le'Veon Bell, Big Ben was in his prime then. The offense had its pieces, and the defense had its pieces with Shazier leading that D. A lot of people thought within the next few years they were going to return to the Super Bowl.
And, the one guy that comes to mind, and we were talking about earlier today, was LaVon Kirkland, who filled that role, right? I saw LaVon at Ross Park Mall once. Absolutely the biggest guy I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, unbelievable. And to think that that's the transition for Ryan to kind of take over that spot that teams wanted, this speedier defense. I saw Ryan at the City Winery a month ago. Dude, he's in great shape, and he looks like he can go out and go today. And maybe we might need him to, but the physical difference is so different, but it is kind of a fascinating turn for sure, right?
Yeah, it was a big transition of the NFL in those mid-2000s right there, where they were starting to go to that more athletic linebacker. And quite frankly, the Steelers have not been able to replace Ryan Shazier since he retired.
And he's listening right now, but he's not smiling yet. So internally, I would be like, yeah. Let's get to him. This is our big moment we've been excited for. Let's just bring him on. He, of course, is the namesake and foot soldier for the Ryan Shazier Fund for Spinal Rehabilitation. This month, Ed, you already know this, is National Spinal Cord Awareness Month. And, of course, is our oneBURGH Yinzfluencer. Let's welcome to oneBURGH, the one and only Ryan Shazier. What's up, number 50? How are you, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Oh, man, I can't tell you how happy and excited we are that you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here as well. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys.
Hey, what's
going on, Ryan? Good to see you again.
How long has the foundation been around for?
So we started the foundation about 3 years ago. The foundation actually started about probably like a week or so after I retired. So as I was going through my injury and I started to talk to a lot of individuals that had spinal cord injuries as well, I started to notice that they were really struggling when it came to getting more rehab, getting more resources, their family understanding the dynamic of what it's like to go through a spinal cord injury. So I started to talk to some people I know about ways that we can grow a spinal cord injury, or ways that we can help those with spinal cord injuries. So we started the Ryan Shazier Fund. It's been about 3 years now.
So when you announced your retirement from the Steelers, little did we know that you had another announcement that you were going to bring this up, which is really cool.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, man, for sure. Let me bring up something to you, and there's a million questions, and we're going to try to just focus it because I know we got about a half hour with you, which is really great. Earlier today, Ed and I both watched. I think the moment that stands out for me, and maybe not for you, but the core memory for me is the night that you went to a Penguins game, and no one had really seen you in public, right? They announce you, and then what I think a lot of people hold as an emotional moment for them is when you stood, man. I mean, it gives me chills just to hear about it. What did it take for you to get to that moment physically? I mean, it had to just be a ton of work.
Yeah, it was a lot of rehab. It was a lot of just the definition of insanity, doing the same things over and over and expecting a different result. So I was just in rehab and, would practice consistently on trying to stand up, hold my balance, and just trying to see how much progress I was making. And I was feeling really good at that point. I would stand up and practice at home, and I would practice with my wife. So, and then my mother would be there sometimes. So then I was when we went to the game, because that's one thing that I thought is very important, and I feel like a lot of people should think is important, is still continue to do things that you love to do even though you're hurt. And I ended up going to the Penguins game, had a great time, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna go. And when I went and they put me on the jumbotron, I thought it was a good opportunity to just kind of let everybody know I'm getting better.
Dude, I got to tell you, it still stands out as an absolutely incredible moment. And when you got up, I mean,
Sure
did you feel it? I mean, you knew that had to be a pretty significant moment for you.
Yeah, it was definitely a significant moment for me, for my family. We really was excited about it, but we kind of already knew where I was at. And the one thing I constantly did with my rehab was I always kind of told people or show a little bit behind where I actually was at. So, if when I stood up, at that point, I can actually do a little bit more. So it's like every time I showed everybody what I can do, it was like, I'm going to show you what I'm doing right now. But I was always able to do a little bit more, So just because it kind of kept pushing me, and I would just want to let people know that I'm constantly getting better.
Yeah, that's great.
Ryan, I know. Good to see you again, by the way. And
Good to see you again.
You guys are having lunch together.
How about that, huh? How about that?
Yeah, yesterday.
But Ryan, talk a little bit about that journey during that process, man. I know you've sided your family, coaches, doctors, but who was the most inspirational person during that process with you? And I know you've also sided your faith throughout that too.
Yeah, so I don't know if I can just lean on one person when it comes to that, because I kind of lean on a lot. I lean on my wife. I lean on my brother. I lean on my husband. I'm sorry, my father. Hey, I definitely don't have a husband.
That'd be a big breaking news story tonight.
We knew what you meant, because I know you talked about your dad being a big important piece of that puzzle, right?
Yeah. It's my wife, my family, and then I would talk about my best friend as well. He was my trainer at the time too. So they all just did a really good job of holding me accountable. So my mom, my brother, my wife and my father, they were, and my trainer, they were there constantly every single day, and they held me accountable for what I said. So I said I wanted to have a potential to play football again. I said I wanted the opportunity to be able to continue to play and spend time with my kids and try to get back to some type of independence. So when the days I had, oh man, this is a tough day, this is a hard day, they'll be like, hey, Ryan, I remember when you told me that you wanted this. I remember when they told me that you wanted that. And they kind of knew that was what helped motivate me in that moment. And it kind of helped me better.
And you had to feel people who love you and care about you. And I read this. You wanted to come back and play football. You had to know in the other room, all these people were like, he can't do it. Don't have him do it. Or, well, how did that work? I mean, your loved ones had to just be like at a mixed emotion when they would hear you say that.
Yeah, so my family, they were, some of them didn't want me to play. My wife, she told me, she was like, "Hey, Ryan, at the end of the day, when I finally retired, she's like, I didn't want you to play, but if that's what you wanted to do, I'm gonna support you 100%. She said every single day when I played a football game, she was nervous, she was scared, she just never knew. So that was never going to change if I was 100% healthy or I was 100% hurt. At every moment, every football player that has a family, when they're watching them play, they all like, "Hey, man, I just hope he gets out of this game unscathed. I hope he get out of this game okay." And even if they get an injury like a ACL or a Achilles or a uh, uh, concussion, they're still like, "Hey, at least he's gonna be all right. He's coming back home. He's gonna be all right." So when I had a spinal cord injury, and DeMar Hamlin when he has cardiac arrest, those are the moments where people are really scared and their families are really like, "Man, we never want our family members to go through this." But at the end of the day, we're both still here. We're both doing all right, and that's just something that is going to scare our families as long as we play the game.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Ryan, when the Hamlin thing happened this past football season, did you reach out to him? Did you talk to him during that whole process of his recovery?
So I sent messages and then I talked to his team. Yeah, we didn't really get to talk as much. It was very short conversation, but I always told him if you never needed anybody to talk to, anybody to lean on, I was here for support. So to me, I just wanted to be able to give as much support as I was given, and I was given a lot of support from all different people. And I know that we went through two different type of things, but it was very scary. And I just wanted to let him know that I was here if he needed me.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Ryan, tell us quickly, what is Ryan time through the Ryan Shazier Foundation?
So Ryan Tom is something that in an individual with spinal cord injury, they would go to Ryan Shazier Fund.org, will go on there and sign up, and that's somebody that's going through a spinal cord injury and their families. If it depends on if they want their family on the call or not, but we will talk about the issues that they went through and how I've overcame my issues, and sometimes I can help with them when it comes to adding motivation, letting them know some of the things that I did to help me get better, or even somebody that's in a very tough situation. I would talk to them about their spinal cord injury, about their injury, and just try to bring any type of light to them.
Let me ask you a question. And a friend of mine who had cancer said that he went through this, that people are upset for you, right? They're scared for you, they're nervous, and he told me that he never found a way that he had to be other people's cheerleader when they would react and see him. Did you find that? And do you find like that's an answer for Ryan time, that not only you're a celebrity and you've been through it, but you've been there, so the cheerleading can kind of go away and you can talk to to person who's been through it?
Yeah, so I remember I had a Ryan Tom on yesterday, and I remember I was talking to somebody and I was letting them know, man, it's definitely a way that you can go and talk to somebody and just they went through the same issues that I went through. I went through the same issues they went through, so it's somebody that can relate. Somebody can tell you that the stove is hot, the stove is hot, the stove is hot. But if they never been burned by the stove, you can hear what they're saying, but if you actually go look at somebody's hand who's been burned by the stove and you've been burned by the stove, you guys can share what the pain feels like. You guys can share what your nervous system feels like, what those sensitivities that you have going on. We love our doctors, we love our therapists, and they can tell us the pain that you're going to go through because of facts and studies, but they can't actually tell you what they did in that situation. And with Ryan Tom, a lot of the things that individuals went through when it comes to spasms, when it comes to back pain, when it comes to any type of pain, when it comes to everything that they've been through, I can go there and talk to them about it, and that's what Ryan Tom is about.
That is awesome, man. That's really
What
cool.
what a great cause, man! What a great cause. We do have some football questions for you to talk
Oh
about a
yeah,
little bit here this evening. This past week, the Steelers took over Vegas. It was an exciting game, of course. Steeler Nation was in full attendance. TJ Watt said after the game that it makes a difference, especially for the defense on the field. Being a defensive player that you were, talk about that a little bit. Especially when you're on the road and Steeler Nation shows up like that, how big of a difference does that truly make for you guys?
It makes a huge difference because imagine going to Las Vegas. Our team just came back home. They had to sit on a plane for 10 hours. That's, first of all, flying to Las Vegas. Everybody that knows, I just came back from that trip. I went to Las Vegas and it was 4.5 hours there, and it felt like it was 100 hours coming back. And
Oh yeah.
So the flight's already really difficult. So you're going somewhere that you're already out of your comfort zone. I know Vegas has a lot of nice hotels and a lot of nice beds, but it's not like sleeping in your bed. So when you're going to other away games, you're used to people booing you. You're used to people saying you suck. Like, people tell TJ he sucks and he gets 2.5 sacks, but it still sucks when people tell you that type of thing. And then you're pumping up the crowd and you're in, Baltimore, people are boo or they're not saying anything to you. And so the home team can communicate exactly how they want to. But imagine going to another stadium where their home team is supposed to feel comfortable, where their home team is supposed to feel like, hey, I have an advantage here because I can talk to my team, and my defense has an advantage because the Steelers offense can't talk at all. But the way that the fans in Pittsburgh travel, it allows when we go to away games versus teams that are, clear cut, not winning any, they're clear cut, not a favorite or a contender. We're going to take over their whole stadium, and it allows us the opportunity to go in there and make it feel like a home game.
Hey, well, it's interesting though now, and obviously you're not playing. I saw you on the sidelines during a lot of different games. I saw you at training camp. No one boos you anymore, man. That's got to hurt you as a competitor, right? I mean, that's got to fuel you. But is it time to tell the other teams it's okay to boo Ryan Shazier again?
No, I mean, and I think my calling is a lot bigger than football. So somebody can boo me because I might wear a TJ jersey at an away game, or somebody may boo me like this guy say OH, I'm gonna say IO. He might boo me when I'm in Cleveland or in Cincinnati territory when I'm wearing a TJ Watt jersey or I'm wearing a Cam Hayward jersey. But at the end of the day, I think my purpose here was to let people know that there's inspiration, that there's a way to overcome any challenges that you have. So I think that's why people don't boo me as much as I used to.
But that people
absolutely
feel comfortable with you again. Once you start to hear a couple of boos, that's a good thing, man. That might be part of the recovery.
No, the thing is, I just, to me, I don't know if I'll take boos well, because when I had when people would boo me, I can at least go out there and piss them off and make them boo me more, because I actually can do something about it now. If somebody boo me, it just feels like somebody said a bad tweet about me.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, we're going to get to some Ohio State stuff here in a little bit, because I'm getting bombarded by Michigan friends of mine that wanted me to talk to you about Ohio State. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a little bit later. But hey, talk about when you got drafted, 15th overall pick, 2014 Steelers first pick. Did you know the Steelers were going to draft you leading up to that night? Did you have any indication?
No, so it was really crazy about when I came to Pittsburgh. When I had my pro day, when I was getting drafted, I ended up pulling my hamstring on my pro day. So when I pulled my hamstring on my pro day, it really kind of hindered me from going to visit other teams and working out more. So with me doing that, I still travel. I visited a lot of teams. I just couldn't work out there. So when I ended up visiting a lot of teams, Pittsburgh was one of the teams. And the linebacker coach at the time was like, hey, we have 2 linebackers. We have Lawrence Timmons, and then Vince Williams was a rookie the year before. And Larry Foote got hurt very early in the season. So Vince had to play basically 13, 14 games. And when that ended up happening, Vince thought he was going to be the starter, and they thought, they had a linebacker core set. And so when I went to go visit, Coach Butts was like, hey, Ryan, I just want to let you know, I think you're an awesome player, but I just don't see why you're here right now. I think you're going to go in the first round. I think you're going to go in the first round, and I don't think we're going to draft a linebacker in the first pick. So he told me I was good, but he made it seem like, hey, I'm not coming to Pittsburgh.
Wow.
And so when I had got drafted, I was at the draft, and my agent actually called me. Like, my agent was sitting at the table with me, and he was like, Ryan, I just want to let you know you're about to get drafted with the next pick. And the 14th pick was the Bears. The Steelers are on the clock, and he was like, Ryan, you're going to get drafted with the next pick. You're going to go to the Dallas Cowboys. And so basically, I was all ready to go to Dallas, and then my phone rang, and it was a 412 number, and I knew it was the Steelers because I had a few teammates that were from Pittsburgh.
So you knew it was out.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. So once I had the 412 number call me, Mr. Rooney picked up and was like, "Hey, Ryan, are you ready to be a Steeler?" So it was a great moment, and I was really excited because Terrell Pryor, he went to Ohio State. We had Jordan Hall, so we had a few Buckeyes there, and it made it fun.
And I didn't have an appreciation, man, in preparation to talking to you. I mean, I have an appreciation for what you do on the field. I didn't realize how fast you were, man, or are. I mean, everyone talks about Neon Dion, right? And he, ran that 40 and he walks out of the combine and leaves. Your number's not that far behind. And I think they clocked you as the fastest person ever in your position.
Hey, man, I just always thought, I know I'm not the biggest guy, so I just had to, try my best to get there as fast as I could. And I kind of took that approach with everything. Hey, just try to beat the next person to me to that spot. So when it came to the 40, I was just like, I just got to beat everybody else to that spot. And
you did.
I think I did a good job.
Yeah, hell yeah, for sure.
Ryan, no one covered the field side to side like you did, man, when you were out there flying around. I mean, just incredible. And you were the leader of that Steeler defense at the time. And we were just talking a little bit before you came on about how the NFL was transitioning at that position, that the real big, beefy linebackers that would just blitz all the time and go in and hit, that was fading because tight ends were becoming hybrids. The Rob Gronkowskis of the world were more athletics, guys in the slot. And man, you really excelled at that position. Did you, when you were coming up through high school and into college at Ohio State, did you see that transformation, especially in the NFL coming on, where the more athletic, speedy inside linebackers were going to be a thing of the future?
So honestly, I never really just looked at it like that. To me, I just wanted to be a pro at every position. I mean, a pro at every aspect of my job. So a linebacker's job is to stop the run, and then sometimes you have to stop the pass. So in the offseason, my cousin who went to Duquesne, his name is Nahari Crawford. He has the Duquesne record for most receiving yards in Duquesne history. So like when in the offseason, I would practice linebacker stuff during one time of the day, and then I would just guard him in one-on-ones during practice in the second half of the day. And the thing is Nahari, he was good enough to go to the NFL. He had got a practice squad invite, and he got mini camp invites to the Steelers, but he never made it. But if I can guard him, it allowed me just to be prepared to be able to guard tight ends, and when I had the opportunity, I had to guard receivers. He was quick enough and he was fast. He wasn't an NFL receiver, but he really put me in position to just understand how to play leverage and understand where I needed to be so that I can just, defend the ball. And so, most tight ends, their route running wasn't at Nahari's route running ability. So it really let me understand how to thrive, especially guarding tight ends.
And what do you think? I mean, there's got to be a moment at night or as you're playing catch or working out or something. If everything stayed the course, where do you think you'd be right now still in the NFL? A lot of people have a wet dream about you and TJ Watt just dominating defenses out there. Where do you see yourself if you could take that look?
Yeah, I don't really try to live in what ifs that often. So
yeah,
I try my best not to get there, but hopefully, I felt like I was a top 3 linebacker at the time, and I feel like I will be a top 3 linebacker now. And I feel like the Steelers probably would have won a championship by the time I've left. The year I got hurt, I feel like we had a very good chance of winning a championship that season. But at the end of the day, you just never know. If I was still there, we might not never have Minka. If I was still there, we might not have a lot of other guys. Because if I was there, that would be a big contract there that wasn't there before. So it's just, I don't really try to look into what ifs too often. I just feel that the Steelers will be a good team as they always been, and just add another piece on defense. I feel like we could have won a game or so.
Well, let's not do the what ifs. Let's do the big announcements. You're going to coach soon, aren't you? I mean, you're still so around the league. What's happening next? We're going to see you on the sidelines, aren't we?
So I haven't. So I don't know if I'm ready yet. I think right now I'm really excited about what we're doing with the foundation. I also own a logistics company, so I'm actually excited about that right now. So if I can get all those things up and rolling and they're going smooth without needing my help at all, then it's a possibility. But
okay, so it's a yes. It's a yes.
Well, Ryan, Ryan.
I don't know yet.
I'm the head coach of my youngest son's 3rd and 4th grade youth football team at Cannon Mac. You can come down and help us coach, man. That could be your first coaching job, but we'll welcome you with open arms, my friend.
Yeah. So there's one thing that there's one trait that I have that doesn't really fit kids that well, is that I get so mad that I will curse. And I can't curse kids out. So you can curse grown men out, you can't curse kids out. So I don't know if that would be the right place for me to start off.
Yeah, you'd be surprised what you hear on the sidelines, even at that age, though. But yeah, that's fair, man. That's fair. Hey, Ryan, talk to us a little bit. And I know this is a very broad question, and you could probably name a bunch of players, but who is the best defensive player that you played with during your career, whether it's college or in the pros? And on the flip side, who is the best offensive player that you ever had to face?
So, man, it's a really hard question because I played with a lot of really good players, so
right.
So the best player I've ever played against, I'll have to say Tom Brady, just based off of he's the greatest player of all time. I know a lot of people in Pittsburgh don't like to hear that, but in the day, he's the greatest player of all time.
Someone told me at breakfast today that Tom Brady sucks, and I just go, "Oh, is that right?"
yeah,
people are insane.
Yeah, you can say he sucks, but in the day, it's like when you go back and look at history, when you go back and look at anything that involves the game of football, you can't say football without Tom Brady. So it's just
absolutely.
I would have to have him first. But if you're going about teammates, man, this is a really tough one because I think that TJ can go down as one of the greatest to ever play because he's already, he's on fire right now, so it's really hard for me to not say TJ, but you got to think about it. I also played with Troy Polamalu. I also played with, Lawrence Timmons, who was really great. I also I played with, Cam Hayward, who to me is right behind, obviously TJ might be the greatest, DN, outside linebacker or greatest, but Cam Hayward can also be right behind Joe Green as the second best D lineman in Pittsburgh, so it's really hard for me to say. Then you have Antonio Brown, and I know he's been through a lot, but he's also, he's one of the greatest receivers to ever play the game.
There's no doubt about it.
No doubt.
But then but I can also say, Ezekiel Elliott or so it's really hard or Joey Bosa. So it's really hard for me to go. But if I had to pick one, I would have to say the best player I probably ever played with would probably be TJ. Yeah, because at the time, Troy, was kind of on a decline, and then TJ, when I was younger, he was kind of on the incline. So I would say that, probably TJ. Then I would say Cam is a close second.
It's got to be so strange, though. Take us into the locker room if you can. There's so much hype around the NFL, right? And this guy Matt King
too. I forgot. I'm sorry about that. Ben Roethlisberger is so common in Pittsburgh. It's just like it's like, man,
I've never heard of that person. Right? Who's that?
Yeah, it's like,
who's that?
Take us in the locker room. You mentioned all these great guys, but with them come controversy, right? The people are talking about them. You hear them on Sports Talk. You see them on Sports Center. Matt Canada's getting chanted, but these are real people to you. What happens when you see these people in real life and you're their teammates, you're their friends? What's that situation like coming off of outside of that building? It's a circus. What's going on inside?
So the biggest thing is when somebody asks for my opinion, you have to grade the performance and not the player, so you have to grade the performance and not the person. And, sometimes they're going to get mad because at the end of the day, they're still people, but they have to respect your opinion when it comes to the performance that they put out there on the field. When it comes to, speaking in the media, if I have to talk negatively about somebody, I talk about the negative performance that they put on the field, not about Ryan Shazier was a terrible person. Ryan Shazier sucks. So that's when you can really get in a sticky situation. But to me, it's just, hey, we're in a business of entertainment. We're in the business of, the fans are the reason that these guys make so much money. So in the end of the day, you have to put our performance out there that the fans and the Roonies are going to appreciate and going to like. So if you're going to go out there and play at a very unsatisfaction level, I can't even say the word right now.
It's okay.
Very bad level. If you want to start out there and play at a very bad level, then you can't get mad if people are saying, "Hey, Ryan, you went out there, missed 7 tackles, and you suck." So it's just, it just, at the end of the day, nobody just wants to hear they suck. But at the end of the day, if you don't do your job the way that you're supposed to do your job, people are going to criticize you because they want you to do your job excellent every single time you're in the profession.
Ryan, in December of 2020, you went back to Ohio State, completed your degree. How important was that for you to do that?
To me, it was very important because the one thing I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure to get my degree, but I wanted to finish something that I started. I started at school at Ohio State. I left school early, so that was one thing that I didn't really get to finish. But I wanted to finish something that I started. So I thought it was very important. I actually have a degree in psychology, and I don't know how much it helps me as much right now. I think the biggest thing it helped me with is, arguing with my wife. I can get in her head sometimes.
Oh, great.
You got any tips? Yeah.
You don't want my tips. You're gonna lose more hair than you already lost, Ed. I don't.
Hey man, come on.
I thought it was very important, and me and my wife, we both have our degrees, and we want our kids to kind of go down the same path. Whatever you start, you have to finish, and you have to go back. If you're going to go to school, you need to go there and finish school. If you're going to go into business, you need to give the best you have, and until you can't give no more. So that's the route that we wanted to take, the approach that we want to take, and I thought it would be very important to start something that I finish, and that's why I wanted to go back. And then,
that's outstanding.
You can't be a coach without a degree.
That's right.
There you go.
Wait, Ed, does Cannon McMillan's 7th grade program require a degree?
No, you don't need one at that age. But at the older ages.
Yeah. We'll welcome Ryan anytime, man. Anytime. Hey, Ryan, real quick too on your Buckeyes this year, man. You got to be really excited about OSU right now. I mean, they're off to a great start, huh?
Yeah, I'm really excited about them. To me, I remember at the beginning of the year, everybody was like, "Oh, you guys have a quarterback problem. You guys have a quarterback problem." And to me, the team that had a quarterback problem is Alabama. They're really struggling right now. Another team that kind of their quarterback isn't looking the greatest, but they're winning games is Georgia. But one thing that we've seen with our quarterback versus Notre Dame, hey, when our backs were against the wall, he won us the game. He made the difficult throws. He put them in the tight windows, and he made the right decisions. So to me, I was, really excited about seeing how our quarterback looked, how our team looked. It was exciting to see how Coach Day was fired up after that game. And
when he called out Lou Holtz, that was straight out of WWE.
Yeah, I loved it. But what a lot of people fail to realize is we had the Saturday night game. When you first wake up in the morning at Ohio State, when you play there, in the mornings you eat breakfast. The coach is telling you the game plans, but as a team, you're eating breakfast. And they also have College Game Day and all those shows on before the game, being before you play. So when you're waking up in the mornings and you have the night game, and then you see another coach on there saying that your team is not tough, that we have a better quarterback, we have a better running back, we have a better O-line, we have a better receiver, when the coach saying all this stuff, and your coach is sitting right there in front of you, I'm happy that he was fired up at the end of the game. And I know Darnell asked, "Are we going to beat the mighty Michigan?" At the end of the day, they've been mighty for 2 years, so they're still they got our number the last 2 years, but it's always a new year. And I'm gonna be honest, Michigan they haven't been looking that great at the beginning of the games this year either. So we have to. I think every year I'm going to say Ohio State can beat us, be the team up north. It doesn't matter if we win 0 games or if we win 100. I'm always going to say it.
Hell yeah.
The team up north.
Let me give a couple plugs, and we can't thank you enough for the time. I know everyone was thrilled to have you here and you answer questions. And There was a lot of people who had crazy questions like, Ryan, do you remember signing my Uncle Maurice's jersey? Will you sign his hat? We didn't have time to get to those questions tonight, but maybe we'll have you back on to answer those real hard-hitting, in-depth questions. But for people who want to support Ryan, it is National Spinal Cord Awareness Month. RyanShazierFund.org. At least follow it on Facebook, follow it on Instagram, keep up with what they're doing, because so many stories daily from you and your team, Ryan. They're really inspirational and fun and interesting, and you guys need help, and we still need support. And even though I think people are lost on that you're a celebrity, so you got this covered, you don't. It still takes a team to do it.
Yeah, it takes a village, to help. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what your network is. At the end of the day, it takes a village to succeed in anything you do. And that's why I think it's very important that we, just build a community here in Pittsburgh, especially as we continue to grow. Another way that they can help out is we're actually having a fashion show that we're partnering with David Allen, the great tailor here in Pittsburgh. We're actually having a fashion show on October 14th at 6 p.m. People can also go there and support us as well if they want to have a great time there too.
Well, yeah, for sure. And, I will say before you go, there is that famous picture of you. I don't know what city you were in, maybe Cincinnati or where, but it's freezing cold. You have no shirt on, and you're just wearing that tassel hat over your face. I've tried that so many times, Ryan, and my wife just does not find it attractive.
Yeah, my wife used to find it attractive. I have a belly now, so I don't think she's finding it as attractive.
Ryan, thank you so much, and I want to thank the team with Chris and Caroline and everyone at the foundation, RyanShazierFund.org. Ryan Shazier, thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. It was great talking to you guys.
All right, there he goes.
Ryan, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, there he is, Ryan Shazier. What a night here on oneBURGH.
I tell you, when you listen to him talk about what he went through during that time and everything else, man, just really, really good stuff. Great guy, great individual, great cause, great foundation. Definitely need to check it out.
And what about your bald head and his bald head? At any time during the interview, did you think, does my bald head look better than Ryan's?
I don't know, man. He did reference it. He called me out on it there for a minute, so I appreciate that. But yeah, who has the better bald head, me or Ryan? I don't know. My middle name's Ryan, so
Isn't it funny that we wait till he leaves to ask each other this? Like, now that he's gone, what did you think about his bald head? Do you think it was better than yours, Ed?
Yeah,
that was so
I think
cool,
one of the most interesting things was hearing him talk about draft day, how he had no indication he was going to come to the Steelers. In fact, it was the complete opposite. He was expecting not to get picked by the Steelers. And boy, I'm glad the Steelers did pick him, and I think he is probably too. Pittsburgh's definitely his home.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks to Ryan Shazier for being here tonight. We're going to have tons of clips. If you missed anything, this will be, of course, on all the social media platforms for oneBURGH. We'll break them down for you. We'll have more. And again, thanks to everybody at the Ryan Shazier Foundation who we got to meet, spend some time with. We hope that we've done our part for this month to get the word out, and we will continue to do that and continue to support Ryan as long as it takes, as long as it goes, just like Ryan, right? Make that commitment. So anyway, Ed, any final thoughts?
No, I'm just really glad we started with Ryan Shazier. And like I said, I got to meet him and talk to him a little bit yesterday, one-on-one, and that was great. And just can't say enough good things about him. Everybody keeps asking me, is he as cool as he seems? And the answer to that is absolutely 110%. Great guy, great cause. And he's on a different path now, but his path that he is on now outside of football is a great one, and it's going to help a lot of people.
All right. Again, RyanShazierFund.org. And again, follow it on the social channels, learn more about what they're doing. And thanks for all the support here on oneBURGH. Ed Troop, what's next for you tonight? Off to bed?
Off to bed, but I'm just excited that our Steeler postgame show this Sunday will be at a normal hour. We will not be doing it at 12 o'clock at night like we have the last 2 weeks. Yes,
and join us on Sunday after the game. The legend, Sally Wiggin, the WTAE legend, Sally Wiggin will be joining us. So that's going to be a lot of fun too.
Hopefully we'll be talking about the Steelers at 3-1. And by the way, they don't go to the bye. They have Baltimore at home the following week and then the bye week. You and I were talking last week. We thought the bye was coming after Houston. They still have Baltimore at home and then the bye.
The NFL is so smart how they set this up, right? Because you're not going to give the Steelers the bye before Baltimore. You're going to put them on the ropes and then give Steeler Nation 2 weeks to either, drink poison or do cartwheels that, overinflate how good we are or overinflate how bad we are. And then, we'll get going. But that's still an early bye week. I think that's a big, quick turnaround for us. It may affect the Steelers down the road.
Yep, absolutely. And I think another interesting thing for Sunday is, will Steeler Nation take over Houston? A lot of people think that is going to be the case, that there's going to be another huge crowd in Houston supporting the black and gold. And you heard TJ Watt talk about it. You just heard Ryan Shazier talk about it, man. It makes a big difference for those players, especially on defense.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll look forward to it. We will check you out later on Sunday. For Ed Troop, I'm Brian Carruthers. Thanks for watching, everybody, and thank you for checking out One.